Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we're looking at 11 games here in the NBA to end the work week on Friday night. We've got a couple game videos up as always, including this one, which is the Trailblazers and the Oklahoma City Thunder in Portland. Also have the Knicks and Sixers and our player props, as we do each and every weekday. So like and subscribe to that page. Also head to thelines.com. Check out all the great written content we have up there for you guys each and every day of the season. And use that odds finder tool on there. Make sure that you're checking all the U.S. sports books, giving you guys odds in the NBA this season. Make sure you're getting the best juice available to you guys. Nate, let's go ahead and get into this slate and then talk Blazers and Thunder.
Yeah, it's the day after the trade deadline, so we got to stay on top of who's going to be with the new team, who's passed a physical and going to actually play tonight. Lots of names moving around there on a very entertaining Thursday. But we got Spurs +3 at Detroit. The other game we break down, Knicks are +5.5 at the Sixers. And we'll see if Josh Hart is playing for the Knicks, if Cam Reddish is playing for these Blazers after they clear. We know Durant won't be with the Suns yet. They're only +1 at Indy on a back-to-back here with the skeleton crew. Kind of like I think the Pacers should get hit there. Hornets are +11 at the Celtics, but Celtics listing a lot of guys questionable. Jazz are +7 at Toronto. Wolves +9 at the struggling Grizz. Rudy Gobert is questionable there. I would worry way more about his status than D'Angelo Russell being out of there. I don't think that really matters that much. Rockets +10 at Heat. Mavs are +2 at the Kings. Luka has a chance to debut alongside Kyrie in that one. And then we got Thunder, +4 at the Blazers. Also Cavs -2.5 at Pelicans and Bucks +2 at the Clippers, back-to-back at Crypto there for the Bucks. But yeah, I want to target this Blazers game, and I know they're going to be worse for the wear long-term without Josh Hart and Gary Payton. Like, literally, what are you doing, new GM, other than, I guess, trying to just have an entertaining product on the floor for the rest of the season and then play another long game, because this was the biggest weakness of the Blazers is their perimeter defense, and he traded away your best two perimeter defenders. Good job. For Cam Reddish, a guy who's just going to be another gunner, best case scenario, hopefully hits a bunch of threes alongside Dame and Simons. And I don't think you can feel comfortable taking an under on the Blazers until further notice based on this. But, I mean, they do have some guys coming in that I trust to man the front court at least and not make it, a total red carpet to the rim. And defending the rim is really what you have to worry about with SGA and the Thunder. I mean, they're shooting such a lower percentage on the road as well since the start of this year, 36% versus 45% at home from deep. It's scoring 10 points per game fewer on the road. For them, I really, I talked exactly this same game when they were going to Golden State earlier in the week, just that, we worry about the Thunder covering the spread, but that's when it was 8 or 9 as road dogs, and now they because they have that reputation and they're getting 4, they're not that good. I mean, they're a team that people used to rest their guys against. They beat the Nuggets without Jokic and Murray, couldn't handle it as road favorites yet again in Houston. And then, of course, they get smacked by the Warriors. And so now they're getting that respect again because they won at the Lakers. And that's a different, that's a one-off in my mind. That was their Super Bowl. I mean, the young guys stepped up in a big way. Jalen Williams, the second most points of his career. The team shot 50% from three. They shot 18 for 20 at the line. It was all the pressure on the Lakers and the Thunder just having fun playing with house money. But that's exhausting for them too. And now third game in 4 nights, still on the road here, where they're just far worse in terms of offensively, and where they've been really, really bad in the clutch and bad in the clutch wherever they were. Aside from even including that Lakers game, they're still 28th in net rating in the clutch their last 6 here. And guess who's number 1? Dame time. Damian Lillard, who was very visibly pissed when he saw that Josh Hart. We're just kind of shocked that Josh Hart was shipped out of town because, again, what are we doing here? He thought, we were turning the page with Portland. I mean, in any case, he's playing like a superhero, and I think if he has added motivation because he's pissed about anything, it's trouble for OKC. He's been cold against them in his last 3. To me, that means he's is due, not that they have some sort of recipe. And I mean, OKC is not defending point guards well at all this year, 6th most points per game to them. So I think Dame, I think I would look at some player performance doubles here because it is a bit of a skeleton crew. If Cam Reddish isn't ready to play, of course, it's just going to be Dame. Huge usage rate once again, doing it all. 30 to 35 plus in a win are definitely some player performance doubles to look at here.
All right. Hear you on all that. The only thing is I don't think they can stop Shai Gilgeous either, by the way. It's Shai, not Shea. But I don't think they can stop SGA the way they haven't. I mean, I know this is a little bit of a stretch here, but the Thunder have beat the Blazers 4 games in a row. Now, the last 2, really the last 3 were at home. Dame didn't play in the first 2, last season. Dame was, we know what was happening with him. He might have even played a little bit in one of those matchups in April or whatever when he got back for a game or 2, but it was pretty much nothing. He was still nursing that abdominal strain. So the 2 in December that were pretty much back to back in the middle of that Blazers slide. I think they lost 7 in a row at that point in time. Dame was in both those games, and he did go off enough, not necessarily off in terms of Dame going off, right? In the most recent one, we're talking about 28 points for him in 39 minutes, not the most Dame efficiency or even, total, but, in the one before that, 16 points where he was kind of held. Now, this is all, at home, like you were saying, some splits for the Thunder. That game was kept low as well, where, it wasn't sort of your typical Blazers, and really Thunder style game, especially in this setting where it's now the Blazers back at home, and you really, I would be scared to take an under on them going, at home. The problem was they were playing a Bucks team last time, and they still went over they went under against that Bucks team because there was such a massive total of 241, but that was pretty easy under that we both talked about in that game as well, just because and like we thought, the Blazers didn't come along for the ride, only dropping 108 points that night. So they're not playing the Bucks at home. They're playing the Thunder, who, as you mentioned, are just a leaky defense at that point, where they just give up points all over the floor. It's different. The free throw attempts and points in the paint, obviously, where they get big boyed. Now Nurk not being there is fine, but I think Jeremy Grant's still going to have a field day against guys in this lineup. Especially where I think there's a couple guys out for OKC that obviously the Dort's still out, but Jeremiah Robinson-Earl still out as well. So you're going to be seeing a lot of Kenrich Williams trying to get big and Jalen Williams trying to get big, et cetera. And obviously Gidey gets his rebounds, but that does leave them open to, I think, a much better and bigger front court for this Blazers team at this point. And Drew Eubanks has been balling, by the way, pretty well. So giving him his props in that sense. Solid pickup, by the way, in fantasy if anybody's looking for a quick streamer. But yeah, I would say that the idea of the Thunder stopping the Blazers not there, but I also think Shai is going to get into the paint, and that's where also the Blazers are going to be extremely vulnerable in terms of Nurk not being in there to stop points in the paint, second chance points available for the long rangey guys that attack the rim for this Thunder team, and then Shai getting into the lane and doing what he wants, like he has against most teams, and then especially against this tiny little front court or back court rather.
Yeah, I mean, here's your mistake, thinking that Nurkic is a good thing to have against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. No, you got Eubanks, Nasir Little, and Trent Watford, who really got a ton of experience last year, as if, it was like the JV team playing the entire second half of the year, and those guys got their time, and they're going to be playing a lot harder, at least you can guarantee, than a guy like Yusuf Nurkic. And I think SGA is going to get his. He got his in both of those matchups, but it's the home road thing you got to look at more. That Portland, both these teams score 10 more points per game at home versus on the road and shoot a much starker percentage. Portland's defense is awful wherever they are.
Yeah.
So I think there is plenty to think about an over here, or maybe that kind of same game parlay. Say, look, both SGA and Dame are getting theirs tonight. But I mean, Portland, with those 3 guys in the front court, just the hustle to be able to shoot 8 for 27 from 3 and have a terrible assist to turnover ratio, but out rebound Golden State, beat Golden State, even with Poole and Clay going off, and it's all Dame. It's triple double and 16 for 16 at the free throw line. He will not lose 37 points per game over the course of a month. I would just much rather take that guy and the number 1 clutch team than OKC to replicate what they were able to do at the Lakers.
Yeah, especially with a small spread. I completely agree. It hasn't really moved too much, I don't think, right? Yeah, I mean, it started at basically this 4-3.5, so it's going to be probably hovering around there for the most part, and I think that's because it's, as we say, properly priced. Some people want to bet on the Thunder a little bit, I imagine, but like you said, it's not like they're covering 8-point spreads right now. They're expected to keep this game close in the end, and just a few free throws after the Blazers, get up and Dame does his thing is good, but I would rather kind of bet on like you said, these guys to score. 242 is still a very high total. I'd really just prefer to look at Dame and Shai and how I think they're just going to kind of go tit for tat in this one, all their way to both getting over 30 points. Probably some nice specials on that one as well. So that's all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Also got another game video and our player props up for you today. So until we see you next, happy betting.